Welcome to the Bastrop Podcast. Real people, real stories, all from right here in Bastrop, Texas. I'm your host, Matt Walker, a local business owner, realtor, and entrepreneur with Wisdom House Realty Group and Bastrop Drone and Media Company. We sit down with the locals, shaping our community, from the mayor's office to Main Street shops, and bring you the voices behind the town we call home. All right. Good morning, everybody. I'm sitting down with a very special guest today. I have Liana Walker, my wonderful wife, business partner, co-team leader, co-owner on all of our various wonderful things that we run. How are you doing, Liana?
I'm doing good. I'm excited to be here. We are in a new podcast studio this go around, and yeah, it's fun. I'm excited to dive into all the topics we have today.
Awesome. To start a little bit, can you tell us about your upbringing, your journey to Texas, and how you got into real estate?
Sure. So I was born in Pennsylvania, born and raised. My background is in advertising. So I got into advertising in high school. I started early in ninth grade with a high school that specialized in different careers. And so I went into the advertising career field, which I credit that as an advantage over my career of starting so young. And then I lived in Manhattan, New York for a while, traveled a bit, went to a couple of different countries a little bit, and then went to school. I went to school for art and design and elementary education, and then I did some preschool teaching, English as a second language teaching to college students in New York, and then led some Bible studies as well. Got back into graphic design, went back to school for graphic design, and then I started working at a national advertising magazine. Actually, during college, I was offered the job. So I didn't finish my last semester of college. I just jumped right into my new job because I got the offer before I graduated. And so I started as a graphic designer there. And then a year later, I was promoted to the lead designer. And then shortly after that, I was promoted to art director. And that was really fun. I led a team of about 6 graphic designers. And we did everything from magazines to postcards, menus, online advertising. And I learned a lot during that time, during working for that magazine. And then I started my own business. My first business was Midnight Stationery. It was a greeting cards, wrapping paper. It was really just a creative outlet outside of my normal job that I could make my own designs. And that was really fun. I was in a couple different stores and online Etsy art fairs. And then I switched to being a freelance graphic designer, and I started taking on freelance clients. I worked for that magazine as a freelance designer. And then you and I, during that time, we got married and we moved to Texas. And then I started working for a magazine in Austin called Kirkus Reviews. It's a book industry magazine. So I worked there as a graphic designer, and I did social media marketing as well as print advertising, online website advertising, Google ads, all sorts of advertising. And then after that, I switched back to being a freelance designer after we had our COVID baby in 2020 and worked as a freelancer, did a couple jobs for Deep Eddy Vodka. I worked for the advertising magazine again. And then we got into real estate then in 2020. Our life kind of took completely different directions. And yeah, you got your real estate license and I helped you with your real estate business. And then I got my real estate license and we had our second baby, and then we grew our real estate business. All of those years of advertising prepared me to promote our listings and advertise our business, and really gave us a step up in the industry as far as advertising goes. A lot of people know us for our advertising. So I think that really gave us an edge. And you've also learned a lot from me over the years with advertising. And then we moved to Bastrop in 2021, and we love Bastrop. And the move to Bastrop was really your vision. We were living in Austin and you knew that Bastrop was up and coming. You visited it a couple times, and then you just really knew that we should move here for the opportunity with real estate and just the growth here. So I had never been to Bastrop before. So I put on my overalls and said, okay, we're going to Timbuktu. And we drove out here and walked up and down Main Street, and it wasn't Timbuktu. It was a very cute town. I loved it the first day. So I thought, yeah, okay, I'm on board with this. So we moved out here. And I also, within the first year or so, I thought maybe we would move back to Austin. I wasn't sure, but I think we all as a family quickly fell in love with Bastrop. It just has so much to offer. And we've been growing our business here since 2021. We started our podcast, the Bastrop Podcast.
Oh, hey, that's this.
That's this. And then we started our media company, Bastrop Drone and Media Co. And when people ask me if we're moving out of Bastrop, I say no, because our businesses are literally tied to Bastrop, but also we love Bastrop. And yeah, so that's a little bit about me. We have 2 kids. You and I run a real estate team, 7 agents, including you and I. And the area that we cover is from Houston to Austin to San Antonio, as far north as one agent on our team has done work near Dallas. And so we cover quite a wide range of areas. And then outside of that, the things I do in Bastrop, you and I are both members of the Bastrop Chamber of Commerce. We're very involved in things happening in the city. We show up to events. I, this year, am a leader on the Bastrop County Momco. And with that, I run their social media. I get content for them. I help plan their play dates and connect with moms. And I'm involved in a women's Bible study, and we're both involved in our church. You play on the worship team, and we homeschool our kids. So we're pretty busy people, but we are very involved in the community here. Is there anything that I missed with my explanation?
I think that, about covered it all. I think, your background in social media and advertising has definitely put us on a lot of people's radar when it comes to especially real estate and even promoting Bastrop. So I think that's been a really great thing that you've been able to push forward for us.
Yeah, like we did the Christmas parade this year, and Mayor Ishmael Harris and the Bastrop Chamber President Becky Womble, they were announcing our float, and I'll never forget the quote. They said, "Wisdom House Realty Group, they're very active on social media." And I'm like, yes, that's that. If that's what we're known for, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, it definitely seems like, when we really came on the scene, we were the first kind of people doing that much kind of marketing on social media. And since then, it does seem like the other realtors are like, oh, snap, we need to actually start keeping up with the Joneses, as it were. And so then that, of course, pushes us to continue innovating with it as much as we can.
Yeah, I think there's been a huge shift in the last 6 years, even I would say 6 to 8 years or even less time, where real estate is sold on social media. That is where we are selling our listings, finding buyers. I heard a quote that screen appeal is the new curb appeal. If the home looks good on Instagram, that sometimes weighs more than if it looks good on the street. I think that a lot of traditional realtors and real estate professionals and other industries as well, they didn't realize, or they're still coming to realize, how significant social media is for business. And that's something that when I came into real estate, I knew from day one that this needs to be social media. And I think a lot of realtors in Bastrop, but also just nationwide, are realizing how important it is to have a presence on social media.
100%.
So what about you, Matt? Tell us a little bit about your upbringing. You have a unique experience with living in different states. Where were you born and where were you raised? And tell us a little bit about your career background. And you're a real estate broker now, which is very exciting. How did you get to that point where you became a real estate broker?
So I was born in Northern Virginia. We lived there for about 9 years. My dad had a couple different businesses. He was also ordained in Virginia as a Southern Baptist. Then we moved to Florida, lived right outside of Daytona Beach. Lots of tourists, so that was sometimes interesting, but it was good living down there. Definitely a bit of island time out there where it just wasn't a lot of urgency, which was fine, but it was a good time. My dad was primarily a pastor. He started as a youth pastor and then a pastor of administration, doing background stuff for the church. But we were homeschooled all growing up, and then just involved with different kind of sports. Ran the gamut of, your soccer and baseball and basketball and all that fun jazz. And then my parents moved to Hershey, Pennsylvania. They became house parents for the Milton Hershey schools. They had 12 middle school boys living in this giant house while they were living in an apartment that was attached to it. And so I started going to college in Pennsylvania, met you. We were friends for a while and then started dating and graduated college, got married. I went into the kind of warehousing logistics field for a while. And then
we moved to Austin and just we visited first and fell in love just with Texas, especially being in cold, dreary, overcast Pennsylvania, where the winters are long and just very depressing and gray, versus out here you got your rainy season, and otherwise it is basically blue skies all the time. So we just absolutely fell in love with this place. And yeah, got a warehouse job out here. We moved to East Austin. And then how I got into real estate was you were going on walks while you were pregnant with our firstborn with another mom. And her husband was a realtor. And she was like, hey, Matt and him, they should meet up and talk about real estate. And I'm like, yeah, sure, let's do it. So he brought me in, started taking the classes, got my license, and then started working through transactions. Shortly after that, we moved out to Bastrop. You were helping with the social media for my stuff. And then we were like, you should get your license as well. This makes a lot of sense for us both to be realtors. Let's both tackle this and grow everything out as much as we can. And so you got your license a few years after me. We formed Wisdom House Realty Group under that. At first, it was just us working on growing ourselves and kind of that name out. And then we joined Epic Realty, and we were kind of deciding if we wanted to have it just be us or have it expand further out. And we decided, you know what? We want to make this a large team. We want to have this continue to expand and get the Wisdom House name out there. And that seems like the best way to do it is to bring in other agents and train them up through what we've learned. And I think we're starting to see that. It's been really cool to see their success through their different life challenges and whatever they've got going on day to day. And then to see, hey, they're growing. And that is awesome to see. And then you can get your broker's license after you've been a realtor for 4 years. And so I went ahead and took the necessary classes. Thanks to my previous bachelor's degree, I didn't end up having to take a ton of them that qualified with my business management degree. So I was able to get my broker's license, pass the test with flying colors. And we are still with Epic Realty because, dear Lord, all the benefits that they offer, 90 plus, I think, different benefits. But I can call myself a broker associate now, which is pretty cool. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. We, as Liana said, also run the Bastrop Drone and Media Company. So I'm usually the guy out there flying the drones all around and getting the different pictures of the houses, as well as whatever the clients might want. We've done a wedding shoot before. We did a downtown high-rise in Austin. That was interesting and kind of cool. And then, of course, we run the Bastrop Podcast, which is me interviewing people 9 times out of 10.
Yeah. And the Bastrop Podcast is by far our most popular business endeavor. Everybody loves the Bastrop Podcast. When I tell people that I'm a realtor, sometimes it doesn't faze them. And then I'm like, oh, we also have the Bastrop Podcast. And their face lights up and they're like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. But podcasts are fun. So I completely understand.
Yeah, they're fun times. So Wisdom House Realty Group, where did the name come from?
Okay, so for Wisdom House Realty Group, I wanted to name it something that had more meaning than just like Texas real estate or our name. A lot of people wanted us to name it Walker, Texas Real Estate. But there's a verse in the Bible that says, commit your actions to the Lord and your plans will succeed. And that's something that we've found to be true. And so I really wanted something that honored God and gave him glory. And there was a king of Israel. His name was Solomon. He was apparently the wisest king and the wisest human other than Jesus. And he wrote a book. It's called Proverbs. It's in the Bible and it's also in the Jewish books. I'm not sure if it's in the Muslim books, but it is a very well-known historic book. It's very old. And King Solomon wrote this book, and there's a verse in there, Proverbs 24, verse 3 through 4. And it says, by wisdom a house is built, and by understanding it is established. By knowledge the rooms are filled with precious and pleasant riches. And that stood out to me, Wisdom House. And so we really thought about it and prayed about it and decided that's what we wanted to name our real estate group, Wisdom House. It really stands for our morals and our ethics. We really want our team to take the higher road. And in business, there's a lot of corruption, and we wanted to make sure that everyone on our team knew that we have zero tolerance for corruption or unethical practices. that we are a faith-based business, and that is really important to us and to our clients, that we are being honest with them and taking like the morally higher road.
So what are some reasons to use a realtor?
All right. So if you're buying a new build home, I highly recommend you have a realtor. A lot of people think you can just walk into a new build office and buy a home unrepresented and there won't be any problems. And I feel like that's one of the biggest misconceptions with purchasing a home. Personally, we have seen more issues with the inspection report on new build homes sometimes than on resale homes. And it's really important that a buyer has someone that's representing them and negotiating for them and speaking up for them. We have seen builders push clients around who they're not represented, or maybe they even are our clients and the builder is trying to get them to close without an inspection. Or we've experienced our clients buying a brand new home and come to find out the brand new home had mold in it. And we really fought for our clients to get that mold taken care of. And we fought for the clients to get the home inspected. There's been other things that we've seen, like the gas line not connected in a new home, or, oh my goodness, there's so much with new builds that I'm like, you really need a realtor who knows what we're looking for, who knows how to negotiate, who knows how to navigate. This is not saying anything bad about new build sales reps, but there are some out there that are just trying to make a quick buck and they really don't care about the issues once you're in the home. We've seen people move into the home and then suddenly they don't have communication any longer with the supervisor or the superintendent, and they have these issues and they can't get a hold of anyone. We've seen that time and time again. And when you have a realtor involved, we are advocating for you. We are calling. We are not letting it go until your issues are resolved. That is one thing that I really wish buyers knew. And it costs the buyer usually nothing because the builder will likely pay the realtor. So it's usually free for the buyers. So in my opinion, it's like a no-brainer. You should have a realtor when you're buying a new construction. When you're buying a resale, it's also pretty similar. We know what we're looking for when we walk through the home. If we see water damage, we're going to point it out to you. If we see a red flag in the contract documents, we will tell you. We will fight for you. The value of using a realtor is very significant, especially like someone who really knows how to navigate contracts. There are so many contracts with real estate, and it can be very complicated if you're buying a resale from someone who inherited the property and the father passed away. It can get so complicated. And we had clients who bought a parcel of land in Bastrop off of a website, and that land was inherited by 3 brothers. The dad had passed away. And then when we went to sell that land, we couldn't sell it for months. The title company had to track down this brother in New Jersey to sign. I mean, it can get so complicated. And if you don't have a realtor involved, there are so many things that can come up that can really cause financial issues. Even the financial side of things, when someone buys a brand new home, they don't realize half of the time that that home is being taxed on raw land. And the following year, it's going to be that we will explain to you of this property tax that you're seeing this year is not going to be accurate. You will be paying more next year. So there's a lot of things that we're financially looking out for your best interest. We're working within your budget and connecting you with lenders and inspectors and people that we trust and know. And we have a really good relationship with the builders in Bastrop. They know us. We've done deals and transactions with them. They know our clients. And so if someone tells me that they want to buy in a certain neighborhood, I have that builder on speed dial. I know how to get a hold of them. I'm up to date with the sale prices. If the home is overpriced, we know exactly that it's overpriced right away. We know that. And so we're there to help you come up with a good offer, or maybe it's a really great deal and it's not overpriced. It's an amazing deal. We know that. So another example of that is we sold a model home, and that was a great experience. It was here in Bastrop, and we advocated for our clients to get some repairs done, and the builder was hesitant at first, but then they agreed, and our clients were very happy with the results. And so there's just countless stories of where we really advocate for our clients in really big ways.
Yeah, and I think it also comes down to us as real estate agents. We have, several responsibilities, fiduciary responsibility to our clients, both on the buying and selling side. We are working for them and for their best interest. And they'll let us know what their best interest is, but our goal is to work for them to the best of our abilities. And it's not us trying to look out for ourselves. It's us looking out for them. And that, what you kind of just described, showcases a lot of that. So then what do you think is one thing you would wish buyers and sellers knew right now?
So buyers, I wish they knew in Bastrop area or in Central Texas, I wish buyers knew how amazing the market conditions are for them to purchase homes right now. Builders are desperate to get their inventory moved. Especially in Bastrop, we have a significant amount of inventory. The last time I ran numbers this week, it was like over 700 homes were for sale in Bastrop County, and only about 74 of those sold in November. I know you have the new stats there. What was the numbers for December?
There's 95 new listings. There's currently 646 active listings on the market in December.
So there was an article that came out in the fall that said that Austin and greater Austin area is the number one buyer's market in America, and that there was 110% more sellers than buyers. So if you are a buyer, that is a huge blinking billboard saying now is the time. You have so much negotiating power. You have so many options. You have more options of what to buy now than I don't even know, possibly ever. There's so many homes. The home prices are dropping. We have a listing that went on the market last year and now it's down $100,000. Not just us, but other listings are constantly lowering their prices. It is such a perfect time to buy this year. This is a opportunity window that does not happen every year. And so this was definitely not the case in 21. And so the market has shifted significantly. That's what I want to tell buyers. If you're thinking of getting an investment property, this is definitely a good year to get an investment property. There are a lot of homes in Bastrop County between $100,000 and $200,000 that you can easily turn into a rental or a flip. What I'd like to tell our sellers or sellers in general in Texas is that I really wish that sellers would educate themselves about the shift in the market. A lot of sellers are not paying attention and they think that their home is increasing in equity in a straight line up. But that is just not the case. The real estate market is like the stock market in that it dips and it spikes. And right now with the list price, we are in a dip where if you purchased in the last few years, your home may have actually gone down in value. That doesn't mean that over the next 10 and 20 years, it will continue to go down, but it has a lot of home prices have gone down where they're actually worth less than they paid. And so I really wish that sellers were more educated about the state of the market right now in Central Texas, because we do get sellers who think that their home, they bought it last year and they think their home is now worth $50,000 more when really it hasn't gone up in value, not a single dollar.
And I think part of that was because during the COVID times, homes were increasing 50,000 in a year. They were increasing 100,000. It was a very crazy time. And we're seeing the pullback from that craziness back kind of down to what the levels were kind of almost pre all that. I think, a bit more on the selling side. One thing that I'd like sellers to know is we don't control the price of the home, and neither does the list price. Ultimately, the market decides and the buyers decide what the home value is. So when a seller is saying, hey, I'm going to go with this other person because they say they can get it sold at this price, and it's completely out of what the market is showing other comparable homes are selling for. I mean, a home can be listed for whatever price anybody wants to list it at, but we would be doing them a disservice to list it at that price because that's not what the market is showing. It's ultimately up to what is on the market, what is being sold, and what buyers are willing to pay for. And that's your home value.
Yeah. When we do a listing presentation with a seller, we bring hard numbers. We bring, here is what's sold in your area in the last 90 days or so. And here are the homes that compare to yours and what buyers are willing to pay for it. If a realtor is going to you at a listing presentation and they don't have proof that your home is worth what they're going to list it for, that's a red flag. So there are situations that come up every now and then where a seller will go with the realtor who lists it at the highest price. That is not a good selling strategy, because unless that realtor has actual comps that it will sell at that price, your home is not going to sell at that price. And that's another thing that, we really wish that sellers knew.
Definitely. So let's pivot over to some different news topics. I've got some different things to talk about. We can start with the Sendero build out. That started with the Alta Trails apartments, and now they're starting construction on that front strip. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So I'm really looking forward to it. There's going to be restaurants, there's going to be a hotel, some retail spaces, and I've heard Chewy's might be going in. I'm not sure what's actually confirmed with going into that space, but I'm personally looking forward to that. It's going to be, I've heard it explained as like the new Main Street. Like it's going to be a place that you're going to go to with your family and walk around, get an ice cream, go shopping, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Hopefully some playgrounds that our kids can go crazy and run around at.
Yes. If Sendero is listening, please put a playground in there.
Or 3.
Yeah.
So next up, we've got SpaceX is expanding in 20 million in upgrades, and I can talk a little bit about that. So I believe they were granted 17 million tax break for this. So essentially, it sounds like their out of pocket is roughly 3 million. And that is going to add over 157,000 square foot addition onto their current facility. So that is going to continue to bring growth via just the construction and people needing some place to lay their heads while that's getting built out, as well as just continue people moving out this way or being hired within the community for when that expansion goes online. So it kind of just continues to show the growth that is headed towards Bastrop. I mean, it's, yes, a rough buyer's market for the sellers, but there's still a lot of people moving out this way to fill those roles. Next up, I have Kudo's convenience store is being built in Adelton, if you want to dive into that a little bit.
Sure. So Adelton is the new master plan community in Bastrop. We've done a lot with them. We have a relationship with the builders and with the developer there. We've helped with Adelfest. We've helped them with advertising. And then we're on their billboard on 95. If anyone's driving between 95 and 1440, you'll see me on that billboard advertising the neighborhood. But yeah, so the interesting thing about Adelton is not only is it similar to the Colony with a school and pools and amenities, but also they will have commercial space. Their vision is cafes and retail. And so they're selling it right now. If anyone's interested in purchasing some of their spaces, I would imagine that there's going to be some leasing offers as well. And so the first bid was accepted for a bodega, which will be nice to have like a little convenience store there. I'm really excited for it. But yeah, Adelton is a great neighborhood. It's really cute. They explain it or describe it as similar to Mueller in Austin. Very cute houses, big front porches, a lot of community events, and everyone that we've helped move into the neighborhood loves it. They love living there. It's a very walkable neighborhood, lots of hiking trails that will be close by.
Next up, we have Sprouts is opening in March. They're hiring 82 new hires to run and manage the store. Talking earlier about SpaceX bringing workers in, this is also going to bring job opportunities. And hey, we now have another grocery store because H-E-B is great, but it is extremely crowded. They've been expanding as well, but this is going to be really nice to also just have an organic focused store nearby is something that I think we've been wanting for a while. We have made our occasional trip into Austin for these kinds of stores, and it's rare, but now it being so close, I think that's definitely going to be a regular stopping point for us.
Yeah, definitely. I'm excited for Sprouts.
The Agnes Street completed ahead of schedule. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So I am very excited about Agnes Street being open, which is such a small town like thing to say, but it really is, it makes a huge difference. So now you can drive from Walmart to Home Depot, which is awesome.
It doesn't sound like a big deal, but it gives more accessibility in and around Bastrop. You don't funnel everybody through 71. It doesn't become a giant congestion point. And so now you just have another option. Plus, they completed it early. I believe it was supposed to be finished in a couple months, but they ended up doing the ribbon cutting, I believe, late December.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. A lot of people who are local complain about the traffic getting worse. But if you drive through Austin for 10 minutes, Bastrop traffic's not that bad at all. But it does help significantly to have this new road open. And then there is plans to open up a couple other roads connecting Sprouts to Texas Boot Company, or connecting it closer to where it would come out at the Sugar Shack area. But I'm really excited for the roads being improved. There was also, they're going to remove the traffic lights between Bastrop and Travis County, which is very exciting.
Yeah, they were building overpasses for him, so that'll be very nice.
Yeah.
We've also got the Bastrop government had a bid out for improvements to the courthouse. There was only one bidder that came in at like $9.8 million when their budget was $4 million. So they rejected that one. And I think they're going to be doing some rebidding, I guess. The people who had come out, they just said it wasn't in their wheelhouse. So it'll be interesting. It's good to see that, hey, we have a budget. We're sticking to it. We're not going to go over that budget. And it'll be interesting to see this next go around who ends up applying for it. We also have Hunter's Crossing is working on ending its PID, and that area will start being run by the city. A PID is a public improvement district. I believe they currently still owe $3.2 million to the city for the infrastructure that was put in place, and that's your streets and lights and all that fun jazz that has to be created for the community. So there's still a bit of contention on that point of, hey, that needs to be paid off before the city can officially take it over from the Hunter's Crossing local government conglomeration. Wrapping up, we ask this on every podcast episode. If you had 60 seconds of wisdom to share with our listeners, what would it be?
I think a very big driving belief that I have is that we should make the most of every opportunity. And that's something from a verse in the Bible that says make the most of every opportunity. But there's another quote from somewhere else, not in the Bible, that says people often mistake opportunities as hard work. Opportunities are usually not easy. They usually are hard, and you have to work hard. And so I would say my wisdom that I would like to share for people is if you're presented with one opportunity, let's say someone asks you to speak at an event for free, you're not paid, but you're going to speak to 100 people. And then they offer you a paid opportunity to do something, maybe speak in front of 5 people. And if your mind is focused on how much money you're going to make, you're missing the opportunity. You should weigh opportunity over money. So look at situations, everything that comes in front of you, look at it as, what is this opportunity? What could the potential be if I take this opportunity? So whether that's a conversation with someone you meet at the playground, or maybe it is a huge opportunity where you're speaking at the Twitter X office like we did a couple years ago. Make the most of every single opportunity, big and small. Don't overlook the small beginnings. That's another quote in the Bible. God enjoys small beginnings. And so just make the most of every moment, every conversation, every interaction, because you never know what it's going to bloom into.
I like it. All righty. Well, I appreciate you so much on coming on the Bastrop Podcast. This has been a lot of fun.
Thanks for having me.
100%. And we will talk to everybody later.
Thanks for listening to the Bastrop Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, follow us on Instagram at Bastrop Podcast and share it with a neighbor. We're here with new conversations from people who make Bastrop feel like home. Got someone you think we should interview? Reach out. We'd love to hear from you.